Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2022 Kia Niro EV Premium. If you don't know, the Niro EVs share a platform with all of the other Niros: gas, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and electric, which means the platform cross-compatibility is great on these things. They look, feel, and drive much more like a normal everyday car that you would be used to, not necessarily like the iPad on wheels feel you get from some of the more tech-forward EVs. These are pretty remarkably efficient for their size and their shape. This one has averaged 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour over its last about 4,400 miles, according to the trip computer, which has not yet been reset. And that means realistically, running around down here, high-speed highway running, heavy air conditioning usage to, thermally manage not only the cabin, but the battery pack, puts you at about 220 miles off of its 239 mile EPA estimated range. And they charge pretty quick too. It's got a 63 kilowatt hour battery in it, about 60 of which is usable. And that means on a DC fast charge, you can go from 0 to 80% battery in an hour flat. Meaning, that gives you back about 180 miles in that 1 hour, or 3 miles a minute if you want to get granular. This is designed to do an overnight 0 to 100 full charge in 10 hours on a level 2 240. Or if you only have regular wall outlets, that's no problem either, because this comes with the factory Kia level 1 charger, and that'll still thump about 4 miles per hour of range into it, good for about 50 miles of range on an average overnight charge. But I can't wait to show you more about this, so let's get up under the hood in the car and out for a rip. All right, up under the hood, looking at the engine bay of the Niro EV. Well, I guess technically it would be a motor bay because it's an electric motor, not an internal combustion engine. But either way, it is really spacious and really easy to understand here, because these share a platform with all of the other Niros. Where there would be a big internal combustion engine, there's just the electric drive unit. So you as the operator really only have to worry about your windshield washer fluid here, making sure that your coolant is topped up here, and that your brake fluid in the brake fluid reservoir is at the right level and looks good. There's really nothing else to worry about under here. However, I want to point out 3 interesting things that make the last of the Niro EVs kind of unique. So on these, Kia went to a single coolant reservoir, and they went to the Kia blue coolant, not the older pink coolant, simplifying and making the cooling system on this a bit more durable than on previous models. They also updated this little guy here. That is your coolant chiller. That's where it uses AC to cool the liquid coolant before it goes into the pack, to keep it at its optimal operating temperature to minimize degradation and to maximize performance. It's a very, very clever system, and honestly, this is about one of the simplest and best engineered EVs in this size class you can find. Opening up the back, you'll see opens right up, lift struts hold it up good and easy. And this one, since it has the Harman Kardon premium sound, you've got the sub chilling there, and for cargo securement, you've got tie downs on all 4 corners. This one has the floor mat back here. These back seats do fold level and flat, and you've got your top tether anchors for the big child booster seats there. Now, one of the cooler things under here is, because this doesn't have a gas tank or mufflers or any of that, you get a ton of storage up underneath. In fact, if I lift this all the way up, you've got the first of 2 false floors. So this one here, this actually has the factory Kia level 1 charger, so you can just plug it into any old outlet and put some juice in this thing. But if I lift this out and take this all the way out, there's a whole nother storage area underneath. This one has just like 3 simple things. It's got the tow hook there, Phillips head screwdriver, and The previous owner left in a fix-a-flat tire inflator in here just in case. But you can see that all of these little nooks and crannies, places to kind of keep stuff out of sight, out of mind, and from rattling around. Really good use of space in the back of these things. Climbing into the back of this, these Niros are considered large hatchbacks / small wagons, kind of falling into that gray area of the crossover category. But again, because this one is the electric, it has really good room back here and a totally flat floor to accommodate that battery pack. Now, spinning around, see those, this is actually a pretty nice touch on these. The perforated, they call it Syntex. It's basically fancy pleather, but in all those perforations, there are blue dots for the underlying fiber that comes through. You can see the blue piping because this is the EV. Neat little stylistic touch there. But importantly, you've got your actual latch child seat anchors here. You've got drop-down cup holder armrest there, and backseat passengers get water bottle cutouts in the door and their own pair of vents. Now for spacing, I'm going to turn the camera around real quick. There we go. And you'll see I've got decent headroom, pretty good gut room. This is my own driver's seat, and I still have pretty sufficient knee room back here. And in case you don't know, I am 6'1", 270 pounds, so I'm not a particularly small guy. The seats are reclined just a little bit to give you, a little bit more wiggle room. And yeah, again, the utilization of space and optimization of their ability to take advantage of the fact that this has less running gear under it because it's an EV, not a gasser, is pretty impressive. These seats are, nice and plush too. The most important part of all, climbing in to the driver's seat. Now, two things I want to point out right before I do anything else. Here on the driver's door card, you have got cutouts for water bottles, storage, and that Harman Kardon premium sound system because this is the premium trim. Now, before I say much of anything else, let's get this thing turned on so the AC automatically kicks on, and I turn on my favorite feature ever, the air-conditioned, ventilated seats. So long as you keep the cabin cool, that will blow cool air through your seat and your seat back. Gotta love a good old gooch cooler. But now that we're all dialed in, let's start pushing buttons, and I'll walk you through everything in here because there's a lot to go through, and these are pretty wildly customizable. Here on the door, power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, and up here is your mirror fold. And if you leave it set in the middle position to auto, they will even fold when you lock the doors and walk away, which is nice. Over here, dimmers for your gauge cluster, blind spot monitors, lane keep assist, traction control. Down here, this will slave the locking of the charge door and charge port to the lock status of the car, and that one there will bypass a timer if you have it set to take advantage of cheaper off-peak electricity. If you pull in and you need to charge right now, hit that and it'll bypass the timer and start charging immediately. Up here on the wheel, bunch of buttons, but they're laid out pretty smartly. These handle all of your infotainment controls. These are all of your cruise control controls, and I'll show you more about these when we drive, but Hyundai and Kia have some of the best active cruise control, like lane keep, driver assist systems out there. So turn it on, set your following distance, lane keep on and off, and then this guy dials in the speed. You'll see it when we drive, but it works phenomenally well. Up here in the center, you've got a couple of screens you can go through. Just upon firing this up, it is on the accumulated trip. So 4,300 miles so far, average of 3.8 miles per kilometer, and 73 total hours of runtime since it's been reset. That's a pretty good and honest reflection of how this is going to handle the high temperatures and the high speeds that we see down here in Tucson. You can see on this current drive, haven't driven far. A lot of the times it's been idling, running AC to keep me cool, so our miles per kilowatt hour are real low. But you'll see that come up as we drive. It gives you a real-time readout of your driving style to help you, make the most out of all of your electrons, and then it'll show real-time your energy flow and historical consumption. Go through, you got a compass. This is tire pressures and your following distances when it's live, and then you have got a million different settings and personalizations right here in the center screen. Too much for me to go through right now, but when you come down to check this thing out, I'll happily walk you through all of them. Of note, on the wheel, you've got your two stainless little silver paddles here and here. These control your regen. So put it in drive really quick, and you'll see right now it's on auto regen, which will kind of gauge the regeneration based on your speed. If it's sensing traffic around you, it'll increase your regen, or if you're going down a hill, it'll help to hold your speed or give you more regen. Those paddles though, this increases your regen, and the right-hand paddle decreases your regen. So you can kind of dial in all the way to none at all, so it just coasts where you want your regenerative braking to be and really change the tone and the feel of your EV. Now, getting away from all of this, in the center, this is that 10.25-inch flush-mounted infotainment screen. This is the last of the upgraded ones for this before they went to the new model year. So this one has all the good new hardware and software, so it's really crisp, and it's a really nice integration. So most importantly, this one here, this does have line-in Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which goes to this USB right down there in the center. But if you want to use its own native navigation, it's got maps built into it, which you can even have show your EV range as a sphere, which will change in real time, show you distance to chargers, all that good stuff. EV here gets kind of nerdy. This will allow you not only to see your exact state of charge and potential range with and without HVAC, but you can go into the settings here, choose what the maximum charge it will be is. So if you just leave it plugged in, this one is set to only run up to 80% on DC and AC. DC fast charging set to 80. That is a good, safe number. I personally like to use that for longer trips, but for AC charging at home, I would run it up to 90 or even 100% if you're driving it every single day, so it'll maintain a float charge and do some cell-to-cell balancing while it's plugged in. You can also change the actual current run through the chargers so you don't overload or overwhelm your electrical system at home. And this little clock down here will allow you to set a charging schedule to take advantage of the cheap off-peak electricity rates if you are able to. Now, climate control is up here. You can run everything through this menu, or you can do, as I prefer to, run it all off of the controls down here. And this has some nice quick touch buttons that will help you to, not have to scroll through the menu as much. They're all hotkeys. So map, nav, seek, track, radio, media, and setup all do the same thing up top that they do down here. You just have to go through less menus. And for the HVAC, they do a couple of very clever things. To maximize electric efficiency, driver only on this side diverts all airflow to you, the driver. If you're only on the car, you're the only one that's got to keep cool. And that's where these cooled seats come into play as well, because it is always more efficient to heat or cool you personally than the entire cabin of the car. But if you want to change any of the settings, honestly, this is how hot you want it, this is how hard you want it, and these little guys here control where you want the air to go. As for the radio and everything, if you're not running, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, go to media here, and then you've got the usual AM, FM, Sirius, XM, Bluetooth, a USB stick for straight MP3 music, or they have preloaded sounds of nature for just some nice chill sounds as you're hanging out in your car. Down below, you've got a wireless charger tucked down there. I've got my third phone in there right now, and it's currently charging, so that's lit up. You've got a regular cigarette lighter there. That's USB for charging and line in for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And that is a USB-A fast charger. They have this nice little cubby tucked down below. Just a good little spot for storing some bigger stuff so it doesn't rattle around. And then right here on the center, this is your Prindle. Park is in the middle. Reverse is to the left. Neutral's in the middle. Drive is to the right. Parking brake release is there. And this is the electronic parking brake on and off as well. Now, auto hold will just keep you from rolling at a stop. We've already been over the heated and cooled seats. If your parking sensors get annoying, you can turn them off here, and drive mode takes you through the 3 expected drive modes: normal, eco, sport, and if you hold it down, it will engage Eco Plus, which is your range max mode. That'll limit your top speed and severely reduce the output of your HVAC. If you need to get every last mile out, you can use it, but be prepared to be a bit sweatier. Really good for down here when, it's not 101 degrees. Now, another nice thing to do with these, modular cup holders here, so they can handle different sizes of cups, and they're spring loaded, which is kind of a fun thing. And you can hide it all out of the way. Last piece, center console, decently deep. You got another charge port hidden up in there. Leather feels good too. And you've got your sunroof. Push in to pop it to vent, close it once, and then you can run it all the way back, just like you'd expect. So a really nice touch that honestly, popping that up to vent it is a great way to more rapidly cool the car down on a hot summer day. But that's enough inside of this. Let's actually get to driving. Dropping down here out of the parking garage, I've got all of the windows as well as the sunroof open, so we'll hear any noises this thing makes as we go through the garage. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really anticipating too much sound because this being a just shy of a 4-year-old EV that's been pretty well kept up on, I only expect it to really make the noise that it has to make at low speeds. That whir you hear in the background is coming out of a speaker up onto the front. But little squeaking of my hands on the wheel and the scrubbing of the tires on the concrete. It's a pretty good dialed in car. A little throttle, a little brake. Most of it's all tire noise on the concrete. But yeah, it's a dialed in little thing. And just to show you quick, like let's say I'm gonna try to squeeze in between this Subaru and that pole, right? Now this does have the better sonar suite out back. So you've got your sonars and your backup camera, as well as the backup beeper to let everybody know that you're backing up. So let's say you're not doing that hot of a job and you're getting a little bit close to somebody else's car. It's gonna yell at you before you ever touch them with those sonar sensors. But when you straighten it back up, that backup camera stays lit up so you can keep yourself centered, and then boom, as you come on back, just like you'd expect, those distance marker lines doing a pretty good job. That red line there is about a foot off, and then those start yelling at you as you get even closer. It's a good system, and it really helps keep you from accidentally putting your car into a parking pole. All right, out here, left lane of Interstate 10, cruise control set at a proper southwestern high-speed highway cruise, and we've got the lane keep assist and some of the driver assists running. So you'll see once it captures the lane, it does a pretty good job of keeping itself squared up in it. Also, for a pure EV, everything else, all the other noises are really heightened in a lot of them, like the wind noise and the tire noise. This does a pretty good job of mitigating all of that. Turning it back, if you look, it's a big hatchback. It's a lot of room for sound to echo back there. But they've managed it, quite well in here. And yeah, you can see I can just kind of sit there, just one finger on the wheel, and it'll keep itself centered, dealing with the traffic on both sides. Works like a treat. And the nice thing is, it's not like full self-driving or, autopilot or any of that stuff, but it's a good system that takes about 60 to, I'd say, closer to 80% of the stress off of you as a driver. It still requires you to be, present to monitor everything, and if you put in a little bit more steering effort and overpower it, you'll see it flash as it, relinquishes control to you. But if you want to just take the edge off, it does a good job. And didn't mean to talk over that, but yeah, get a load of that as we're going over this really chewed up concrete and the chunks back there. Soaks the bumps up, doesn't get too loud or rattly in here either. it's a solid commuter. Staged up over here on a mostly abandoned dead-end road outside of Tucson, and we're going to do a quick 0 to 40 to 0 to show you all there's nothing hiding in the brakes or suspension system or ABS of this under full accelerative or decelerative load. Now, this being an EV, we know it's going to have pretty good instant punch from that 200 foot-pounds of torque right from the line, but we're still going to go to drive modes. Let's put it into sport, and you know what, because I do like to party, traction control off. Actually no, last time I did this in another one, I boiled the front tires off. So we're gonna go traction control on so I don't smoke these tires. But yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Traction control working hard to keep it reeled in. There's 40. Excellent. ABS right to a stop. That brr, brr, you can feel it pulsing the pedal and braking each wheel individually. Cool thing is this uses both regen and friction brakes to slow you down as quick and as stable as possible. These are a lot of fun to drive, and if you ever have to do a full panic stop on these, they are really confidence-inspiring things. Want to show you all quick some more broken up pavement, low speed stuff, but importantly, as we're coming under this bridge and come out to a stoplight here, this is a true 0 mile an hour adaptive cruise control system. So if you get into gridlock, stop and go traffic, it will bring you down to the speed of the vehicles in front of you, maintain a safe braking distance, and even bring you to a full stop. Now, actually, I want to be over a lane, so I'm going to give it a quick squirt over here, but it's thinking it can accelerate away, and if you don't catch it, it will reel itself in before you run into any trouble. Again, I do not recommend relying on these systems. That's why you are the driver after all. But it is a nice little peace of mind to know that even if, well, your mind isn't all the way there on any given day, you're, lost in thought or deeply distracted, that this thing has just enough safety nets in it to maybe save you and somebody else from yourself. And one last true suspension, noise, vibration, and harshness test here on some of the roughest roads around. Speed bump, over at a 20, no big deal. Little speed bumps, soaks them up pretty well. Going over some pretty good craters here in the road. An interesting thing with the EVs is that while they are heavier, spun the tires on the gravel there, nice. While they are heavier than their gasoline counterparts, they also carry all of their weight, their mass, and their center of gravity way lower. So while the suspension, as you can hear, is working a little extra hard handling all that road-hugging weight from the battery pack, it's so low down in the frame, it actually makes the vehicle significantly more stable, and means counterintuitively the suspension has to work a little less hard to control things like roll and like what the sway bars would usually have to handle. So, yeah, perfectly composed little thing, does exactly what you'd expect from, large hatchback, small wagon, compact crossover kind of size class. It's a good little mule. It can kind of do a lot of bit of everything. There you go, everybody. Back at our lot, wrapping everything up on the 2022 Kia Niro EV Premium. These, I think, represent some of the, best little all-arounders in all of EVdom today. Realistically, we've sold a bunch of these to people as their first EVs. I think they're great to dip your toes in and get a feel for it. But they also just make really competent all-arounders. They've got more than enough space for you, 3 or 4 friends, if the 3 in the backseat are intimate, and just stuff. They can handle nearly an average week's worth of commuting without ever having to worry about putting battery back into it. But if you can plug it in at home and treat it just like a cell phone, you'll never have range anxiety. Plus, this is the 400 volt architecture. It charges quicker than most vehicles in its class on the DC fast chargers, so it can pull road trip duty quite comfortably and competently if you need it to. This is kind of a sweet spot. Like, as you can tell by this and the two, Hyundai Kona sister cars to it we have over there, we really like this platform and we believe in it, so we keep getting more of them. To check this out for yourself, see how this fits into your life, and see how much you're going to like it, follow the link in the description below, or call or text the number you're about to see on screen. Until then, I've been Dylan. We'll see you soon.